Un ascensor. Vámonos. Música de ascensor, típica música de ascensor. Está cantando el propio este. ¿Dónde estaremos yendo? ¿Para que esto no se para nunca o qué? Pues estoy en el mismo sitio. ¿Para qué mierda es esto? ¿Me han timado? ¿Me hace eso de mierda? ¿Quién sube a cenar?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
El 1, 3, 6, 5, evidentemente.
Stanley simply began entering random codes into the keypad, knowing full well the sheer statistical unlikelihood that this would ever result in a correct combination. If he knew that the combo was 2845, it would be another story entirely. But no, this is what he was going to do instead. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Vamos a continuar. 5.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Totalmente.
Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Vale. Vamos por abajo. Ya hemos llegado abajo. Venga, a la mierda, el ascensor.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Por donde pone escape, claro. Yo fui por donde ponía escape, evidentemente.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Ah, que al final de esto está mi muerte.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Que no.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
¿Qué hay aquí? Ya me he ido a la mierda. ¿Coño?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. But So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
No vamos a la puta. Viene, va a venir.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a
What?
single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated, as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
¿Qué cojones? The Stanley Parable.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Stanley's computer. La oficina. Aquí es donde te empieza a elegir entre las dos puertas. De Tudor. La puta. Aquí está todo. ¿Quién estaba jugando en solitario, tío? Eso es lo que eran los desarrolladores. Qué bueno, tío. Office Clock. Son maquetas y cosas del juego. Narration outtake. Escape. Molan estas cosas, tío. Exit. Game design mockup. What? Mensajes ahí. Qué bueno. Creo que me queda por ver esta. Warzone. Hay un final en el que lucho contra aliens. ¿Qué coño? Spoilers.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit.
Presiona escape
There's no other
y
way
presiona
to
salir.
beat
No hay
this
otra
game.
forma de
As
vencer
long as you
este.
move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time
Flipo, tío. O sea, flipo que me diga que la única forma de salvar a Stanley sea que le dé el escape y luego salir. Que por cierto, esto no es... Tengo que salir sí o sí. Flipo. O sea, tengo que salir sí o sí porque Porque al juego le salen los cojones. Te has perdido un final genial.
This is the story of
¿Y
a
eso?
man named...
Dime cómo sacarlo. Si estoy aquí para sacar
All his
finales distintos.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Corre, 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 corre.
When
Derecha.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open... This was not the
Derecha.
correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Si das escape y sales del juego. Luego lo pruebo, tío.
Stanley was so bad at following directions,
más
it's
sin
incredible
direcciones.
he wasn't fired years ago.
Hijo de puta. Antes he ido por ahí, así que ahora directamente voy a
Look,
dejar que
Stanley, I think
la
perhaps
parte
we've
se me lleva
gotten
hasta allí,
off on the
imagino.
wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
¿A quién? ¿Ella
This
quién?
is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's
¿Ella
been
quién?
waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone. Oh, no, you can't. Did you just unplug the phone? Well, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not
Me acabas de
picking up
contar
the
otro
phone
final.
is actually somehow
Spoiler.
an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice.
Pero tío.
It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his
What the
house.
fuck?
Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
Practice. What?
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, If you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in